It was thought during much of the offseason that USC would be rudely welcomed to the Big Ten with a trip to take on the national champions of the Big House. But the odds have turned here in the last couple of weeks. Welcome into the Voice of College Football and our weekly visit from Steve Merrill from Wager Talk. And of course, get on over to wagertalk.com. Check out Steve's takes on not just college football, but the NFL and Major League Baseball as well. Steve, it's USC, it's Michigan. And just a couple of weeks ago, Michigan was a healthy touchdown favorite during the offseason. But suddenly with USC playing well, Michigan looking very putrid on offense, USC is now the favorite.
Yeah, in fact, the Circa in Las Vegas back in June put advanced lines on a lot of these major games. And these are bettable numbers back in June. And Michigan was a 9-point favorite when it first came out. Just a week ago, with USC having a bye week, DraftKings has look-ahead lines on Wednesday for many major games for the following week. Just last Wednesday, USC was a 2-point favorite. They didn't even play. Michigan looked subpar against Arkansas State. Now they're a 5.5-point dog. So it's moved 2 full touchdowns from the summer. It's moved a field goal just from last week with USC not even playing. So the question becomes, first of all, is there now value with Michigan? And then second of all, can we trust Michigan? Well, I run my 10,000 game simulation, database simulation of all the games every week, and there is value. In fact, I project an outright Michigan win by 3 points, and that includes the first 3 games of this season factored in heavily. So it's not like this is just blind. We have some data to work with now. And then on top of that, we asked, do we have a catalyst here for maybe a spark in that offense? And I think we do with the quarterback change. Warren is now out. The turnovers have been a major problem. He's thrown 6 interceptions in 3 games. They bring in, Alex Ouija, who's actually a run-based quarterback, yet he's only completed 3 passes this year, 6 attempts. He's thrown for 2 touchdowns, the same that Warren threw for in 72 pass attempts. So I think it's going to be a run-based offense. I'm not still sold on this USC defense. They do look improved this year, just like LSU looked improved in that first game. But those were 2 really bad defenses last year. LSU still threw for over 300 yards in that game. But what really jumped out to me for that USC game was the lack of rushing. Just 69 rushing yards against a very suspect LSU defense. Michigan is the better defensive team here, the better rushing attack, and we get them as a substantial home dog. And oh, by the way, I look at public consensus big for the NFL, of course. I do that video at wagertalk.com every week for the NFL, but I follow it in college, and USC is looking like one of the most public sides this weekend in college football. Yet another reason this line is too high. So hold your nose, maybe. It's hard to believe we're saying hold your nose and play the defending national champs as a 5.5-point home dog, but that's the situation.
And that's exactly the feedback we're receiving here from fans and callers is that Michigan looks awful. USC is back. Right. And I think a lot of people are likening this USC team to what they saw when Texas went to the Big House just a few weeks ago and looking to see that type of game again and making maybe too many analogies between the 2 situations.
No question about it. Recent bias is something that you got to be very careful with in sports betting. And I get that this Michigan offense does not look good, but then again, we have a catalyst. And it's interesting because the biggest fade in the NFL the last couple of years for the public has been the Panthers. And it's very hard for me to back the Carolina Panthers. And this week they're making a quarterback change as well with Andy Dalton for Bryce Young. So whenever you're going to back a team that's struggling, you want to have a reason that maybe something has changed. The question is, do we risk money this week or do we just sit back and kind of see it first? I think we're getting so much extra line value right now that it's worth a wager. It's worth a risk on Michigan.
Steve delivers his under-the-radar selection here each week at the Voice of College Football. You can get that by being a premium member either on YouTube or on Patreon. Just please go to Patreon, search MarkRogersTV, or as a YouTube channel member. And Steve merely proved that he is human last week by finally missing a pick. He's still 23-6 against the spread in his under-the-radar selections. And also, Steve, you've got a special deal for some folks if they head on over to wagertalk.com.
Yeah, I want people to go a little deeper than just the under-the-radar pick, that I give everybody here. Last Saturday, we went 3-1 in college football. In fact, I had Tennessee and Miami of Florida. They won by combined 133-0. I've been doing this for 29 years. Not sure I'll have another day where I have best bets in the next 29 years that win by 133-0. But seriously, there's some really strong best bets this Saturday. And if anybody would like to get one for free, all they have to do is use promo code VOICE25 as you see on the screen. You go to my page, Steve Merrill, wagertalk.com, select one of the $25 best bets, any one that you want. And then at checkout, use that promo code VOICE25. You get an instant $25 discount, so you'll get it for free. Steve Merrill, wagertalk.com.
And folks, to make that a little bit easier for you to get on over to Wager Talk in that specific page, we are leaving the link down in the description section of the video. So you just click on the link. It's at the very top of the description section, and you can follow Wager Talk right to Steve's page and take advantage of this promo code VOICE25, as well, of course, as Steve's under the radar selection here at the Voice of College Football. And you can find out more about that and my selections as well right now. College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under the radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.